you're going to think I'm making this up as a joke. The Los Angeles Lakers have posted an opening for a head strength and conditioning coach on teamworkonline.com. The job description says, responsible for motivating players and holding them accountable for their work in the weight room. It doesn't say anything about speaking Slovenian as a requirement, but it might as well. When we saw this, literally every single person who works on our show said, this can't be real. Please go check that again. We have quadruple checked this. It is 100% real. It is an actual job posting. You can apply to be the strength and conditioning coach of the Los Angeles Lakers if you believe that you can motivate players and hold them accountable for their work in the weight room. This is quite obviously, Udonis Haslem, aimed at one person. What is your reaction to it?
I have seen everything but the win, and I have never seen that. I mean, first and foremost, we're talking about NBA professionals here. We're talking about guys who have went through whatever they had to go through to get here. If I have to pay someone to hold you accountable and to motivate you, this is the wrong place for you. You already don't have championship expectations. You don't want it as much as you should want it. So that's first and foremost. And secondly, you have LeBron James there. This is the blueprint for Luka. Regardless of what that strength and conditioning coach says, this is the blueprint for Luka. This is the guy who he needs to be in his pocket. This is the guy who I watched ride a 10-speed to practice. This is the guy when practice started at 11, he was in the gym by 9:30, already in a full sweat, has already gotten in the weight room, has already got his shots up. By the time practice started, he has went through 2 hours of training. You have the blueprint right there. This changes nothing because at the end of the day, when you have a professional guy who's great, if he doesn't want to do it, he's not going to do it.
I hear what you're saying. LeBron James might be the best example of a player who has taken conditioning as, look, he's 40 years old and he's still a dominant NBA player. So he's all the way on one end of the spectrum. Give him all the credit in the world. The reality is, however, on the other side, this feels like a statement, like the Lakers.
Yes.
J.J. Redick said, this is stuff Dallas didn't say out loud. Ultimately, they traded him away, but they never said it out loud. The Lakers, J.J. Redick, at the end of the season said some of our guys are not in championship condition. Now they're posting a job opening here. They're sending a statement to Luka Doncic. Do you think he listens to it?
Not if he's going to go play for Slovenia this summer.
Well, that is what, Windy, you're telling us that is his plan for the summer, right? He's not spending the summer in L.A. working with a strength and conditioning coordinator or with LeBron James or anybody else. He's doing in the summer what he has traditionally always done in the summer.
Yeah, I guess this is a little bit unusual for a team to post something publicly like this. I think I'm not as reacting to it as much as you guys are. I do think, if this is something that is a really high value job, if you're the Lakers, you're like going out and trying to poach somebody away from somebody somewhere else. So it is a little bit unusual in that regard, but I don't think it's as much of a statement as you guys are maybe taking from it.
Well, but what I mean is, and look, I'm not in their heads. I don't know what their intentions are. But we looked at all the other job postings that were there, and it was like Team Chef. I mean, there's none of this. Like, these are not jobs people post for. There's a whole network of people who do these jobs who are qualified for them, and that's who they hire. Other people who are clearly hired for this. The Lakers have made no secret, and I give them credit for it. But they're basically saying to Luka, and they still have to sign him in August, but they're basically saying to Luka, dude, you're not in shape. Do something about it.
I mean, by the way, they continue to expose the soft underbelly of the locker room, and Luka's at the center of it. And if you're watching all the mistakes that Dallas made and you're not trying to make those same mistakes, then continue to call it out and hold him accountable.
Yes.
Like I said before, accountability is not hate. It's the price of the throne.
Yes.
And if you're around LeBron James, who cares if the organization calls you out? Who cares what they post? You're not going to Slovenia.
Yes.
You're locked in for the entire offseason. Yo, LeBron, you have done this. How do I get to the next gear? I am special. I am talented. I'm a generational player. I'm trying to be a generational winner. There is a difference.
This has to become a lifestyle, and Luka has to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Simple, plain.
But this may just not be who the man is. Now, Wendy, again, when JJ made those comments at the end of the year about being in championship condition, you said that every single coach he's ever had going back to the time he was a teenager has basically said the same thing, right?
Yeah, I'm looking. I just have a different viewpoint on this. Now, these two guys are professional athletes and they've been in championship shape. That's not my specialty, obviously. But, Luka going to play for Slovenia is one of the most important things in his life. him winning the Eurobasket championship 2 times ago was one of the great accomplishments of his career. There's no way he's passing that up. So I'm looking at this from a different viewpoint. I do agree, you know, the Lakers, after their brand, they are a bit of a mom and pop operation, and I suspect this is an indication of that. So maybe I'm reacting to that. I don't think this is as grand of a thing as anybody is making it up to. The coach isn't going to matter. Ultimately, it's going to be Luka who decides. He's had a number of strength and conditioning coaches over his life.
Well, that's why I think buying into it matters. That's why I think going back to Slovenia and playing, and I get it, it's something that he loves to do. I'm never trying to negate anybody for representing their country, but you go back to doing things the way you've always done them.
Yes.
Right? Because they allow you to do that.
Yes.
You are the face of the country. And my thing is, what about the offseason is different for where you need to be next season, that you're not doing anything different. You're doing it the same way you've always done it.
Sacrifice. That's the word here, sacrifice. What are you willing to sacrifice to get the championship? You've already won with Slovenia. You won that championship. Now you want an NBA championship. And if it's important to you, then he needs to sacrifice. And that also sends a message to his teammates that this is important to me.
I don't know that I can think of another example of a player in all the years that I've been around sports that would check these boxes, like so talented that he could easily be one of the 2 or 3 best players in the sport, and candidly might be anyway, but also very noticeably, like quite obviously not willing to go whatever the extra mile is that it takes to maximize, that you talk about with LeBron, who of course is, you know, maybe all the way on one end of the spectrum. But normally, to get to be that good, you have to have been given all this, the sacrifices and things like that you're talking about. This is going to be very interesting to watch how this thing plays out this summer and going into next year.
I mean, you got some guys that are just that good. I mean, and that some of these things come natural to these guys, and then when they get in a situation where they have to push themselves a little bit and get out of their comfort zone, they don't know how to do that because they haven't had to do that up until this point. It's crazy.
And also, I'll tell you, JJ is the one dude that will call out bad behavior.
I love it.
Like, you know, you talk about podcasting, coaching, just being unfiltered, whether you like it or not. That will be what happens.
Okay, do I have a minute to get to the Celtics? We should make a quick pick. Oh, Windy looks like he's got a final word. Go ahead, Windman.
I just want to say, like, you think none of this was ever thought about by the Mavericks?
I agree.
Just because he's a Laker, the ideas are all new. Like, the Mavericks went through all of this and knew him best and said, trade. You can debate about whether the trade was smart or whatever. I don't like what they got back, but you know, the idea that this is all of a sudden going to be different because he's a Laker, I just think that's disingenuous.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think we're making the same point here, which is that
you're going to get the Joel Embiid result.
Yeah,
that's it.
But
it's simple.
But you're playing with one of the 3 greatest players to ever walk this planet in his twilight years to try to get.
And you're playing for a franchise that people take this personally with them. Like the Mavericks fans, look how they reacted to him being traded away. They loved him. You've now walked into a place where you don't have anywhere near that level of equity, and a place where the expectation is to win a championship every single year. And if you are perceived as not doing everything you can to get there, it's going to be interesting.
You don't want to be labeled as the guy who is ultra talented, but we can't win with him. You don't want to be that guy.
That's how the Mavericks saw him, one way or the other. All right, the conversation.
You have a chance to change that, Luka.
First take is coming up. That's well said. First take on the way. Will Stephen A's Knicks eliminate the Celtics tonight? Who's the favorite to come out of the East? Those debates and more, top of the hour here on ESPN.